Hey everyone, and welcome back to Pluto's Underworld for another episode of Rangers of the Ton. If you're new here, Power Rangers meets Bridgerton. That's the gist. That's all you really need to know. So all the love, romance, and politics, but occasionally a monster shows up, and these teenagers with spirit have to fight them, ish. So it's fine. Before we jump into recap of last week, or I guess a month ago, right? Is how many? We've missed a few
Just
episodes.
about, yeah.
Oh
Um,
no.
for the recap, and before we do pick up where we left off, let's go around and do introductions. So your name, your pronouns, your character name, character pronouns, and which ranger you are, whether your color and your animal. We will start with Serini.
Oh gosh, okay. Why do we start with
Because
me?
you're first in the overlay.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Serena Teacup, also known as Serini. My pronouns are she, they. You can find me on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and all the other socials as Serena Teacup, which is SerinITeacup. I am playing Rajakumari Kirana Chandara of the Kingdom of Jumunia. She is your Amethyst Elephant Valor Knight. Yes, there we go. I said all the words.
You did it. Good job. Arc.
Hello, everyone. I am Ark or Arc Light Court, your Gridmaster, Lighthouse Keeper, Lore Rider, Beacon onto all beacons. Pronouns he, him. You can find me all over the internet at Arc Light Court. But tonight I am playing Prince Consort Orazio di Argento, the Howlite Hound Valor Knight.
Perfect. Javante.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary findies, and hellions of all walks of life. My name is Javante. My webcam is perpetually blurry because I don't know why. My pronouns are he, him. I play D'Alessio Polka. Pronouns are also he, him. The green, if I remember, green Peridot Stallion Ranger.
Hell yeah. And last but certainly not least, Aetherius.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Aetherius Bordeaux. You can find me around the internet as at Vampire Himbo on Instagram and Threads. And then on TikTok and Twitch, you can find me at Vampire_Himbo. I'm an AP actor. I do a bunch of fun stuff. I play Prince Caius, who is now the Master of Secrecy for his home country of Volturia. And yeah, maybe soon to be like fiance of a certain unnamed character. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's me. He, him for both.
And of course, I am Paige, aka Pluto Cleric, pronoun she, her, and I'll be playing everyone else. Specifically, the stuff that's going to try to beat you up tonight. But before we get into the fight, do any of the three of our Rangers who were there last session want to do a recap for Queen's favor before this fight?
I do.
Go for it.
So the three of us were at the D'Alessio, Kirana, and Caius were at a garden party. Kirana showed up a little bit late, but showed up with gifts for the boys. She ended up stabbing D'Alessio a little bit, just a scotch in the chest. And then we got our corsage gifts. Gary Goop spawned. A wild Gary Goop appeared, and Caius kind of jujitsu'd him off of him and onto D'Alessio as Kirana, and Caius kind of left and escaped. Kirana felt really bad, and Caius began his pitch to the group about the treaty, which is that there's a treaty between our four nations that benefits all of us. We are trying to present like a united front, and the idea is here to be successful in the social aspects of the kind of Regency era like dating stuff, so that we can like all better lead our countries and all that good stuff. And then there was some chemistry, there was some spice, some flavor between D'Alessio and Gary Goop. I felt it. I personally ship it now. I think it's beautiful. And yeah, they had a really interesting conversation. Kirana and Caius come back. They all talk, and Kirana and Caius decide that they want to help D'Alessio get matched. And D'Alessio, in return, shares that he feels confusion and uncomfortability surrounding the ideas of romantic attachments or just romance in general. And he said that he understood platonic friendship, but that romance was something that he had attempted and that he did not feel like was for him. And then there's this moment where Kirana and Kaya sit on either side of him, and RJ sits on his lap, and we all comfort him for a bit. Before Caius makes a decision to make a strategic calculus for the nation of Alturia and Elsewise by getting an engagement ring from RJ and then getting down on one knee and very romantically and earnestly and authentically proposing to D'Alessio, which gooped and gagged, I think, everybody. And I think that we were dealing with the aftermath of that when we saw on RJ's little screen that the garden party was getting fucking attacked by black monster bombs and a rose monster that came up. And so, yeah, and that's what you missed on Glee. So,
Perfect. So we pick back up with the three of you rushing out, as well as both Orazio and the princess as well, accompanying you guys and meeting you in the Great Hall, where the five of you run into each other, almost quite literally, with the three of you hurrying out to the garden party. Orazio, you do not know what's going on out there yet. They haven't been able to get a hold of you. So you just see your three friends running up from where you know the speakeasy is, panicked.
Ah. Is everything okay? Like, as they're approaching, essentially.
definitely not.
Nope, not at
Caius
all.
says this like gestures as they continue to run. Not even a little.
We'll talk and run.
Orazio will turn to Melora, his fiance, find Aloe, get with the other guards. I'm gonna go see what's going on and see if what's going on is bad enough that the entire guard needs to be assembled.
But it's what's going on. Why are you guys running to the... We should be getting the guards to handle it. What are you doing?
I'm pretty sure
we gotta
Kirana's
make sure.
family's out
You're
there.
not in the military anymore.
I still hold a responsibility.
He has to check on my family too.
Yep.
He
that-
promised he'd look after me, so he made a promise to my parents.
They
you
He
know.
did
have
make a
their-
promise.
They each have their own guard, though.
But you see, the thing is, they really like special attention. You know how my parents
Yeah.
are. They're always
Mhm,
like
mhm.
being so much. So kind of like an extra babysitter, unfortunately.
Go
Yep,
ahead and
yep.
roll me etiquette with advantage, Art. Because you have your friends just immediately joined in on backing you up. Lying to your fiance.
Woo! Got it on both. I got a 4 and a 5. Oh wait, no,
No, you missed
that
it
was
completely.
footwork. Yep, I was looking at the wrong thing. I was like, oh, okay, I needed. Yep, missed.
She looks at the four of you, and even seeing D'Alessio kind of coming apart, because D'Alessio is usually the stable one of your group. Okay, we're gonna talk later, though.
Absolutely.
Okay, and she just gives you a kiss on the cheek and hugs Kirana and waves to the two of you as she just
Bye,
turns
be
and heads
safe.
back, kind of
love
still
you.
looking back as you four rush out the doors. You guys get outside. You're still out of sight of the party, but you can already see people screaming. You see more of the garden. It has a similar effect to the ballroom, where there's just blotches of color just bled out of different areas, as well as some knocked out people to the side who are just black and white.
In looking over the area, do I see any of the guards moving into action, or is it just mass panic and
You
chaos?
see some guards are fighting, but as soon as the guards were like in action, the Rose summoned more of those like void monster things. So the guards are off to the side fighting like a group of those things by themselves, and they're not doing well.
Are there any civilians that are in any immediate kind of like trouble or distress that we could maybe
So
like
it's
take care
most
of before we jump
the
in?
families are all were off to the side when all this started. They were already kind of in like the viewing area, so the guards quickly moved them into the housing. It's really just all the heirs that were still out in the garden party that are like kind of stuck at this moment.
Oh. Can I see Octavio?
Yeah, Octavia's being shielded by like 5 people in the corner of the garden. He's trying to fight, but you see his brother Hector is like holding him back.
Are there statues or suits of armor nearby that have like ornamental weaponry or anything on them?
Give me a dueling roll.
Okay. Ooh, just got it with a 7.
Okay, yeah.
Now that
Yeah.
I'm looking at the right thing.
Yeah, you see some ornamental statues like just inside where you guys just ran out from, like just in the entry hall. Like on either side, you could easily just grab and bring out real quick.
Whatever is the biggest weapon there. So if there's like a pole arm or an axe or something,
They're
like
all like holding tower shields with a halberd.
okay. I just grabbed the halberd
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to look to the other 3. I'm going to help the guards as much as I can initially. See if you can handle the ringleader. You guys know more about what's going on than I do right now, and those men don't deserve to die with no information or backup.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
We have about the same level of information, but I agree with the general sentiment there.
Yeah.
I'm going to rush towards the area where the guards are.
Okay.
But as I'm going to yell to Octavio and like hurl that halberd in his direction for him.
Oh.
Damn, now I gotta think of what dice Octavio would be. I'd say he's probably a D8.
That's what I heard.
I definitely just dropped a die. That's fine, it wasn't the D8, so it's okay. Okay. He passed with his dueling roll of a 4, so he catches it out of the air. Like, doesn't really see you said that, but he looks over in like the general direction of the door and just sees you like still out, arm out,
and then rushing towards where the guards are.
You just see him immediately shrug off his brother and just also same beeline that you're making towards the guards. And just heavy footsteps. It's a big boy. The halberd looks small now.
And in between the pillars of this like hall, like area outside, is where I'll do the morph. So like once I'm behind it, I'll morph and then be
okay.
the Valor Knight.
Okay. Yeah, you guys see Orazio run out and quick morph. Just like flashes behind the pillars without even going into the whole thing and just morphed.
Go off.
What are the 3 of you gonna do? You guys are still at the doors.
I have a question, and this I think is good for like the audience for like just world building as well. So, do we have immediate access to the powers and weapons and the morph that we have done in the first one? That is something that we can like access at will when necessary.
Yeah,
and
you
we
can morph whenever.
Okay.
As long as you are not in sight,
Yeah.
it will then give you a warning. But you are not. No one's paying attention to the 3 of you at the moment.
Caius is going to turn to the other 2.
I think it's
morphin' time.
I think
It's
so.
morphin' time.
Yeah.
Alessio is Mike. Alessio with an excitement that finally I don't have to pretend anymore. Grabs a hold of his sword, slams his fist with the ring on it against his own wrist. Nobility and honor. The grid protects. It's morphin' time, and is going to draw the sword and bow, and I'm going to shift. Power of Peridot, Green Stallion Valor Knight, go! And is going to charge forward as he is going to morph.
Perfect. And as the 2 of you go into your morph sequence, go ahead and describe it. Call your callouts.
You can go first.
Orazio did a quick morph, so we're gonna come to what happens for doing that in a second. But
We see Caius raise his hand that has the ring on it and snap. And again, in the snap, we get the brief blackout wherein we just kind of see Caius in the void. It's a quicker one. You know how in Final Fantasy there's like the long summon when you first get it that you do? This is like that shorter one where you still get the like those, if you know, RPG fans like know what's up. So this is like a little bit the abbreviated version. And so we don't get the him falling from the the void, but we do see him slip his fingers like into his body almost. You see that his body becomes incorporeal in a moment in this like the prismatic light that comes when you like hold a crystal, right? Like in the sun and it casts all those different shades. You see that until that kind of like that lens flare takes up all of the screen. And we see Caius struggle as he pulls out two diamond knives, two diamond daggers that are curved in the way that is the tradition in Valturia, where most of the blades have like almost like a scythe like curve. And we see him pull those out. And as he holds both of them, we're going to, again, I got to hit that hard ass. When you come back, his back is facing the camera, and we then get the corner profile. And he goes, "Nobility and honor, the grid protects. It's morphin' time. Power of the Diamond Lion Valor Knights," and we see a big prismatic flare again. And as we come back, we see Caius in his full Valor Knight regalia, including the diamond pauldron, the encrusted cape, all of that. And he is going to wink at Kirana as he's running backwards, and then he's going to turn around and charge right after D'Alessio.
And Kirana, as you're the last
And
one left.
Kirana, she's like, oh God, here we go. So she kind of does like a little clap, but like with her back of her hand against her other hand. So it's just like a little hitting the ring against her hand. And then she taps her foot on the ground twice. You hear the anklet jingle. And if we were to kind of like envision this as like, I guess, a show or something, it's almost like she's on like a rotating, I guess, platform, and you kind of see it start spinning around, and the typical sequence of like the rings of light just kind of going up her body. And within all the sparkle and changing, you hear her say, "Nobility and honor, the grid protects. It's morphin' time." And then her whole outfit just kind of magically appears. Power of Amethyst, Purple Elephant Valor Knight, and she's magically ready and running off, just chasing after them like, help.
Okay, perfect. We're gonna do everyone roll me. This is kind of initiative-ish. Let's do footwork to see who goes first.
I got a 1.
I got a 2.
4, 2. Javante.
Hold on, dice.
Good.
A 6.
Okay, so it will be Ark first because he's the one that actually passed the roll, but then we'll go highest number down after that. So Ark, I mean, fitted enough, you did run off first, way before they were even morphed. So as you run off, forward quick morphin, and not going through the sequence, your first roll will be disadvantage in this fight. But you jump over to the guards and just immediately, you get there in your ranger suit and like in the midst, the same time Octavio just tackles one from the back of the group.
Awesome. And for the audience and everyone, as Orazio was running, doing this quick morph, the quick morph, it was similar to that same whistle that he had done in the ballroom for the other guards. And instead of the full sequence, from the ring, the hunting hound ran down in front of him, turned around, and then rushed his body. And when it connected with his body, that's when the full form came over him before reaching the group. He's going to yell out to the other guards, wedge formation, back, then push, for them to reorient into similar to a phalanx, but to cordon off the enemies from an exit point, essentially, and then push them into the centermost area. And then Orazio is going to attack.
Yeah, they immediately follow. You have a very commanding voice, like you've almost ordered guards before or something. Actually, you know what? Roll etiquette, but honor and hero would be applicable for you specifically for commanding troops. So
Okay,
gives you a better chance to make it. So 1,
this
2,
is with
3, or 10.
disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's great because I got a 1.
Okay, cool.
So on honor, the call out, they are able to position themselves. There's like 2 or 3 are blocking off where that exit point would be, and the rest have created like this slanted, almost like a ramp to force the enemies back and away.
Perfect. Yeah, they immediately get into formation, but what do you do as you run up and catch up to the group? You see them fighting about like 4 of those Void Knights with Octavio on top of another one, kind of struggling. Like even though he's the size advantage on this thing, the thing is starting to overpower him pretty easily.
I'm gonna springboard off of Octavio's perfect 8-pack and attack the enemy right in front of him.
You know what? You get advantage. It's the perfect 8-pack, obviously.
Again, it's that full, almost
It
predator
almost feels like you
muscles.
stepped off granite. How hard these abs are.
Yes. And down on all fours, clawing through the ground, jump into the air, feet on the perfect abs, and then jump forward.
Yeah, give me that Dolan roll.
Yeah, that's a 10.
Oh,
For
even
hero.
better. That's a hero roll. Yeah. How is it described as you just immediately kill one of these Void Knights?
This will be with the Howlite saber over the top of the buckler,
Mhm.
and it's like the like Fang over Fang from Naruto with Kiba, is where he kicks off and just spinning rotate, and the blade just like whirls through them.
I love how nerdy this group is. All of us immediately have references every time we do something. Yeah, immediately just like it scatters the other 3 kind of away, and then you race the guards kind of wedge in and immediately kind of separate out the enemies to make it easier. But yeah, you immediately stab that one into the ground, and as you do, just immediately just puddle underneath you that starts melting through the garden as it's gone.
And I like kneel to where the top of, even in this morphed form, the top of my head is just right around Octavio's belly button. And I've got the shield in front of me with the sword over to like step forward with him when he's ready to advance forward.
Perfect. As we get back to the other 3 of you guys, as you 3 all run up towards the main area where another group of these void creatures, as well as this weird rose amalgamation, is just kind of grouping around. You guys get there, and the rose kind of turns to you, and it doesn't really have eyes. You kind of see the semblance of a face in the petals, and as she talks, there's no movement either. There's no mouth or anything, just kind of like radiates around the area. Well, Valor Knights, was it? You're late for the party. I've already met so many alluring young people here looking for love. Isn't that right, my dear? And she goes like this and gestures, and 3 of the noble boys next to her immediately eyes glaze over pink. And they like straighten up and drop to a knee next to her.
I don't think they're supposed to do that, guys.
You see she got a hold of Hector, as well as 2 other of like the senator's sons that you guys have not interacted with yet.
I know we're all about courting right now in this occasion, but that feels a bit unfair. I'm gonna kick the spear up into my hand and just like look like I'm weighing it for a bit. Even the odds, shall you? And then chuck the spear at the rose thing.
At the rose, just right through all the other enemies.
Yeah.
Go for it. Give me a duel and roll.
Please, this is why my die is here. I like sixes. Sixes. It's a 6.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you just step up and check your spear and get her right in the shoulder, and you actually see as you do that, Hector's eyes clear up, and he immediately rolls out of the way of these other 2, like around them to get behind them, and immediately just 2 hard elbows to the back of their necks as they drop, and then he grabs both and runs off. Thanks for the assist.
All right, you giant corsage. You actually here for a fight?
We can fight if that's what you desire. And as she says, I need a vigor roll from you, D'Alessio.
Oh, I hate that. Hey, for very specific reasons when it comes to this character, can it be an advantage?
No.
Damn.
It's not necessarily always pulling at those
Could I roll?
attractions.
Could I roll anything except for a 6?
You roll a 6?
I rolled a 6 again.
Hell yeah,
That
you
works.
pass. Yeah, so
Cool.
as they try to do
I'm
the
just tired of
same
6s.
vapor towards you, you're able to just immediately duck out of the way of it. As it just you see these like pheromones go right past your head.
What,
That's-
you want me to desire having allergies? How dare you?
Okay, I believe who rolled the 2? Was it? I don't remember who rolled 2.
That
who rolled
was
1.
me.
Okay, you're up, Kirana.
Kirana, she's like, I do have really bad allergies, so if we can make this quick, that would be great. So she starts like spinning the chakram like on her finger, and then kind of tries to shoot it almost to like, kind of like if you're slicing a flower off, but like just kind of shoot it at her neck, almost wherever the neck would be.
Yeah.
Trying to prune the head off.
Yeah,
Literally.
give me a duel and roll. Yeah, the way this
Okay.
body is, it's just like one giant black rose head, and then it goes into
Okay.
like a gray and white stem and bush like body that kind of forms. You can't really
That's
even
what I
tell
was
where the limbs are because it's kind of all tangled.
Okay. Well, I got a 1.
Okay. You chuck it. It goes way off course
God damn it.
and like kind of skids into the grass away from you, as she's able to just move out of the way. And as she does that, you're gonna have disadvantage on this next roll as 2 of the void puppets kind of just jump on you to attack you. So go ahead and roll me a duel and roll to try to dodge.
Okay. And that is a 5.
On disadvantage?
Oh, I didn't hear disadvantage. Sorry.
No, you're good.
That's a yeah, that's a 5. I
Okay.
can't read numbers.
Yeah, you still pass then. Yeah, you see this at the last second as you overextend. You're able to like roll in between them as they just kind of like clumsily just smack into each other and bounce off. But now you have one on each side of you. But we will kick it over to Caius. Caius, there's 2 of these void things next to Kirana, as well as 3 kind of attacking civilians behind the Rose monster.
You guys hear me? Want to make sure my mic didn't freak out like it did. Yes, let's go. I love when my tech basic functions
Yeah, you're
happen. You love to see it. We see Caius briefly look at the civilians, but I think when he would either hear like the sound that Kirana made when she hit the ground, or just like as soon as he saw that, I definitively know that Caius here would go for his friend that he's known for years rather than play the hero. I think that's just who he is. And so he is gonna like run over. What I would love to do is, as the 2 guys are, the 2 shadow things are like right above Kirana, I want to run up behind them. I want Caius to kick the side of the ankle of one of them, like break their ankle a little bit. Use that to leverage. You know, in like certain games, you can do the parkour thing where you bounce off a wall for traversal. I want him to use that guy's broken leg as the first impetus for that. And he uses that to jump up. I want him to kick the second guy in the torso. And as he's in the air, I want him to stab the other guy in the face. So he's kicking one, stabbing one, and ping-ponging up them as he jumps off. But he's breaking the ankle of that one for sure. All right, here we go, y'all. I'm rolling with my D4. That's a 4.
Perfect. That's a hit, and that's also a hero roll for you. You have to hit a 4 in combat to hit, and it's also a crit for you. So every time you do something in combat, it is amazing because that's the only way you can hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you know those odds.
You know what?
I feel
It
like that
makes
stress
sense.
would have
It
like
makes
infected
sense
the
that
dice.
Caius can't just fight normally ever at all. It always has to be extra.
Yeah.
So you do all
He's
that in
like-
stat sequence, and then kind of land in a 3-point stance right next to Kirana.
Right, like I'm gonna do only anime moves. That's it. Only
Yeah.
shit that you can see. But yeah, so I'm gonna like do that. He rips his knife out of the first one, and the goal with kicking and breaking the ankle of the one that I didn't stab was to just get that away from Kirana to handle that in the next turn. But I want to do at least solid like stab face damage to the one shadow guy. As I do a 3-point land. Thank you for adding some zhuzh and like
I know
I like that
anime.
flavor.
I know how this is.
wavelength. Got
Yeah,
it.
as
Yeah.
you knock out 2 of these Void Knights and knock another one kind of off to the ground prone next to Kirana as we get back to the Rose. And she's like, well, this is not fun. You're ruining the party. You know what? We need party favors. And she's going to raise her hand. And immediately all the bottles of champagne start to float over to the bushes and just start to pour. But instead of champagne, it's this black ooze. And immediately, like, these little, like, rose gremlins start popping out of these bushes. There's about 10 of them. About maybe, like, up to knee height. Pretty much, if you've watched Dragon Ball Z, this is the equivalent of some Cell Jr. / Cybermen out here about to join the fight. As you see immediately, like, 2 of them grab guards and detonate. As 2 cards and 2 of these things die. Sorry, guys, this isn't the TV Power Rangers. That's possible in this game. As 2 knights immediately die. And we get back to the guards of Orazio. Orazio, all of your guards stop as they see 2 of their friends. Actually, roll me a d10 to see if you know one of these guards. See if these are from your nation. From your guards.
Probably do.
Roll d10 to
Realistically,
see like how much
probably
emotional
do.
devastation you get.
That's
What?
a 10.
Yeah,
I
they
definitely
were
know
two
them. Yeah.
of your former crewmates.
They were like at your wedding.
The wedding hasn't happened yet. They were going to be.
They
Yeah,
were
they were
at
on
the
their way.
party
100%.
you guys went to after you told Aloe that you were going to propose, and he's like, "Oh wait, we gotta go
They
out."
were your groomsmen.
And not, yeah,
Yeah.
They were going to be 2 of your future groomsmen probably.
Love it.
Oh, that hurts me. Why did I say that?
Yeah, I feel like you have to have gone to guardsman school, which I'm now making a thing in my head with one of them. And that's where you really learn to protect a door. And you
Yeah.
used to protect the shit out of doors with one of these
Yep.
guys. Was like your number 1 door protecting buddy.
Yeah,
and
but you
fucking
see these
rip him,
bodies,
man. Poor 40
literally,
ounce out.
no sign of the rose gremlins that detonated, but both bodies are just like completely crisp, like burnt all the way up, even through the armor.
What kind of weapons did they have on them? Was it just the standard sword? Was it
Their
spears
guards.
and shields?
The guards, you mean?
Yeah.
You tell me. What does your guards carry?
It would be.
They would have had the general. They were general guards, so they would have like what you're like most of the people
yeah,
carry.
so they would have the saber and a shield. Orazio calls out to re-steady the guards that are around him. Maintain position. Follow the prince's orders. And he'll like lean back into Octavio, like nudging him that I'm leaving these ones in your command, essentially.
You hear a hard gulp, but he gives you a steady nod and stands up. I mean, towering over you, as he gets in line with the guards and starts barking out orders, going back into that familiar. I mean, he's from a warrior nation. Like this is common for him. He just goes back into that. But
Am I able to see Octavio being this hot?
yeah, you guys see Octavio being this hot, of course. What Octavio does though is he spins the halberd around and then snaps it in half and dual wields it that way, as it's more comfortable for him.
I was
Say
gonna
less.
toss it. I was gonna toss him one of the shields from one of the 2 fallen, but if he's gonna go Billy Club and short spear, I'm with it.
It's exactly what he's doing. Is he?
You just
You know
hear
what?
under my breath
gonna.
just a,
I
"Oh,
still
fuck
have
off."
a D8. We'll do a roll for Octavio here. We'll see how he does.
I have an icon, honestly.
He'll have advantage because I did order them to take
That is fair.
orders from him.
That is a 6. So yeah, Octavio just immediately starts beating the shit out of one of these things, and then they're not having the strength or power. It kind of spins despite his size and just stabs it from the lower back up through the neck with the spear. As you see the guards starting to engage the rest of them. But what are you doing?
Orazio is going to spin the saber, similar to what he had done in the ballroom, and crash the pommel into the shield, and yell out, "Howlite Hound command, retrieve," and send the spectral hounds out to try and I want them to attack the little rose gremlins that are closest to people.
Okay.
So if they detonate on the spectral hounds,
It won't kill
people
anyone.
aren't getting
Yeah.
hurt. It will just be these spectral hounds.
Perfect. I'm gonna say this is more to do with like not combat, but more to do with like ranger powers, ranger S
Yeah.
stuff, which for me is going to be a vigor roll in this system.
Okay. Ooh, fucking nailed it with a 9.
Okay, what does this look like as you call on the grid and summon some of your hounds to go either try to pull these things away or like take a hit for the people around you?
So it'll be like 4 or 5, like a hunting party's amount of hounds if they were to go hunting like foxes or something of that nature. But these like ethereal white gray smoke hounds just start leaping out of the crest from the shield itself and lock on to which ones would be the most threatening to people. And as they rush across the field itself, they'll like bite into the head of the creature and then roll over, forcing them to explode with the hounds themselves.
Okay, so yeah, you see 3 of these gremlins turn as these hounds are going towards them, and as they're getting ready to like run out into the garden towards some of the light nobles and heirs gathered there. And you see these 3 gremlins actually turn and charge at your hounds. 2 of them immediately getting jumped on by 2 different hounds and detonating. The last one does get hit and disintegrates as it jumps off its head towards you. So now I'm going to need a dueling roll to dodge this last gremlin.
You got it.
As it comes right for you. Just kind of like springboard dives at you in the air.
That's a 6.
Okay. You're able to dodge out of the way as it detonates behind you, in between you and the guards. But
And
we are down to 6 gremlins.
I'm gonna rush towards the
group.
civilians. No, the civilians that were on the other side of the Rose monster.
Okay. So
that
you're
hadn't
go from
gotten
the back.
relieved yet.
Perfect. Yeah, so you rush up. I mean, you run like halfway and then just ranger jump and land behind everything.
Yep.
You guys see your friend Orazio kind of land over your guys' head on the other side of the Rose monster in front of the civilians, between the civilians and the 3 void monsters there.
And then same stance, the shield, sword over the top.
Perfect. D'Alessio, it is up to you. There is 6 gremlins slowly making their way through the garden, both towards you and towards civilians. There is 3 Void Knights on the back side where Orazio is. Then the Rose thing in the middle. And then there's 2 more Void Knights by you guys.
Oh boy. Well, I was gonna go after that. Nope, stick to the plan that I originally had in mind. He will lift his hand as the spear that I threw at the rose thing reappears. As it lands, it's going to slightly like harden into more of a genuine rider's spear. All right. I'm going to presume taking you out's going to help out with this whole thing, isn't it?
You can try.
Yeah, that's what I'm good at. And he's going to run. And as he is, he's going to slightly jump. And as if he's catching on to the reins of a horse, is going to flip his body upwards and summon in a sense, the same stallion that he has as a much more full-grown rendition.
Roll me a vigor roll as you do that. And I need to look something up.
I'll take an 8.
Cool. You go to form this and you feel something answer your call as a not fully adult, somewhere in between adult and kid, your familiar appears underneath you in combat.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Slightly armored on the sides with like a full like one of those like mask type things that horses can have. Kind of sit over their head. Yeah, just fully forms underneath you and looks up and just nods and charges in.
Hell yeah, buddy. And as I like flip up, he'll land just for a moment to pick up the momentum and then push off and swing the spear down at the rose creature.
Yeah, since you pass your vigor roll and you summon your familiar, you will get advantage on this dueling roll, so go for it.
Let's go.
First one of you to summon your familiar in the combat. Let's get it.
I'll take the 6 again. I'll work with that. So as the spear comes bringing down, there's this peridot green shine that appears from the spear, and almost like it's just a keyframe. It's just the spear's in the air, and then it's directly into the ground. Just
Perfect, yeah.
spins it backwards and sets it onto his back, and just looks back to the rose thing. Just so ready?
You almost don't see the damage at first as she took it. She just kind of stops there, but as she turns back to you, you can just make out black sludge dripping from the bottom of her rosebud head. She was very badly hurt from that. Gonna make you pay for that.
Yeah, my friend isn't the only one that names his moves. How's Skypiercer taste?
It doesn't matter what you call it, dear. It's not gonna make a difference. And as she's gonna slam her foot on the ground, or whatever that is, it might be a foot. Can I have you roll a dueling roll?
Yeah. My confidence. 5.
Okay, you make it. You dodge out of the way at the last second as these massive black rosy vines sprout up from the ground where she stomped towards you. Kind of like poison ivy-esque to try to grab onto your body, but you kind of just dodge in between them and then like jump over on landing back on top of your familiar as you kind of ride away. Okay, shoot over to Kirana.
So Kirana's still on the ground, I'm guessing, right?
You are face to face on the ground with one of these void things that Caius knocked next to you. You guys you look up from like faceplant and you like look up face to face with this thing, both of you on your bellies staring at each
Kirana
other.
just immediately screams and like takes her other chakram and she just like kind of
Just from the
right across.
Okay.
She's like,
you know what?
what the fuck?
This is funny. Roll me dueling with advantage.
Okay. That's a 4.
You guys just hear a piercing scream from Kirana and just look over to just die. And
She's just like
just
hacking and slashing at it, and
the
just
head
like,
of this
okay.
thing and before you get up and back away. But yeah, it overkill a little bit, but it's dead. It's definitely dead.
She just after that she gets up and she's like, oh
That
god.
was actually so brutal. The one next to him that was there actually turns into a puddle to just get away from you and leaves.
Oh god, I'm covered in goo and black
Yeah.
stuff. Ugh, get it
That's
off.
badass, though. You're so scary that thing used the self-checkout lane on itself to
Just
get
like,
out of
I'm
here.
out.
I can't wait until this is over.
But the three, like one of the ones on the other side near Orazio is just going to raise a hand and shoot out at you to try to hit you. So give me a dueling roll to try to dodge.
Okay. That's a 6.
Still dodges, yeah. You immediately stand up, and as you stand up and see that, you're able to just like lean back, like Matrix style, out of the way of these like spite projectiles that go over your head. And we will cut over to Caius. Caius, there's no enemies right next to you. There's the rose directly in front of you, and then there's 3 void creatures by Orazio and the civilians.
Can I see D'Alessio from where I'm standing?
D'Alessio's to the right of the rose, so kind of in the middle too.
I'm gonna shoot D'Alessio a look that communicates like just go with it, follow what I am about to do. And so I want to take a different tact in engaging with our floral new friend, and Caius would like to employ some good old-fashioned diplomacy in this situation. Wink wink, D'Alessio. And what I would love to do is try to mechanically run point or engage with this thing. I do like, I mean, if I could talk it out of being a murderous piece of shit, that would be great. But like my
You're
idea
mostly trying to
is
take
to
the
distract
attention away.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Give me an etiquette roll.
Okay.
You have a 75% chance of success.
3.
Perfect. So yeah, you step forward towards this rose monster. What do you say?
Ma'am. Excuse me. We were having a very nice garden party before you decided to add murder to the brunch menu. Now, I think an explanation is due. Explain yourself, madam, he says as he puts his hands on his hips.
I am just trying to lively up the party, my dear. It's getting a little stiff around here, and what's more fun than a little murder amongst friends, right?
I cast a look to D'Alessio as I'm like saying this next thing, hoping he is circling around. I don't know if you get like
Yeah, you
backstab
kind
or
of went to the
whatever.
right and you started like circles. So yeah, he's
Mhm.
moving away to kind of start backtracking.
Look, I think honestly, the violence, it's a little tacky. It's a little gauche. It's a little
You hear a
in poor
gasp.
taste.
How dare you? I'm gonna need you to roll vigor, bestie. You're gonna need a crit because it's literally the only one you need a crit on.
I got a 3.
Yeah. So as she says that and gestures towards you, you feel vines start to creep up your body
Oh
and
fuck.
restrain you in place. Doesn't do
Oh,
damage
shit.
or give you any marquees, but you're restrained.
Okay. Am I like tangled? While I'm like tangled up in this thing,
Yeah,
I am
you're like
like
fully like this, mummied almost to the neck.
D'Alessio.
But that's the top of the order. I'm gonna roll for Octavio and the guards. We'll see how they're doing over there. And then we'll roll for the gremlins. See if we
Man,
kill any
fuck
more
them
people.
gremlins. Just take them out.
So
This is such a nice party.
that is a 4 on the duel end. So you see 2 more of the void things get killed by the guards and Octavio leading their group. There's like 2 left over there as they're fighting. Who wants to roll a? Actually, I'm gonna roll to see who rolls because each of you have different chances of doing this. So
Mhm.
they roll D4 and it'll be by overlay. Okay, Ark. Go ahead and roll just a power die roll to see what happens with these gremlins. You want to roll high. A 10. Okay. There was, I believe, 5 left.
Mhm.
With that 10, I'll say that all 5, instead of running towards the civilians, run towards the ranger group instead of the innocent. So they're running from up behind Kirana and where Caius is tied up at the moment.
I've just gone slack at this point. Like it's kind of helping my back weirdly. So I'm just like
Yeah, when you go slide, it kind of
it's
gives a little
suspension.
bit in the back, so you're kind of like standing up in a recliner almost.
Mm-hmm.
Chiropractor.
Yeah, I still look in distress though. Like this was to an end. This whole like me being constricted thing.
Okay, perfect. We will cut back over to Orazio as you are in between the civilians and the 3 void puppet things on your side.
Okay. Do our Valor Knight forms have communication with each other?
Yeah, you guys
From
have
within them?
heads up displays in your mask,
Oh,
and also can
definitely have
let you
asked for
guys
help
kind of
then.
like if you want to convey something, you guys can also see like glimpses of each other's like face, like kind of a face camera in there.
Could I send an image, like an idea, essentially?
Yeah, you can send an idea. You can send an image to
Okay.
her.
I send an image to D'Alessio, which we've discussed in chat currently. I'm going to, with the Howlite Buckler, I'm going to swing my arm to try and hit the 3 in front of me, but more so it's so I can spin and throw the saber to D'Alessio.
Okay.
So I'm trying to feign an attack against them to throw the sword to D'Alessio while he's on the stallion.
Okay,
Or on the colt.
give me a dueling roll.
6.
Perfect.
Okay, yes, that works.
Yeah, you smash out your shield, and you actually get one of them to stumble prone as it falls over next to the Rose Lady. But the saber spins through the air, kind of like Saba in the Power Rangers, which spins through the air and just in your hand immediately, DLSO, as you make the arc of your turn back towards the fight.
And then continuing the full rotation, I'm going to throw the shield against the vines that are wrapped around Caius to try and break some of them or give him an opening to escape.
Yeah, give me a vigor roll this time.
It's one of my best ones. That's a 7.
Perfect. That's from the success. It's what, 3 high off the thing? Yeah. So
Yeah.
what happens is you shoot that through. It clips the side of one of the Void Knights next to you, instantly decapitating it, bouncing off a wall, bouncing back as like very Captain America style. It cuts through the vines, and then hits the ground and bounces back up and takes out the other Void Knight standing there. So you just have the one on the ground in front of you, as well as the Rose Queen and the 5 gremlins that are charging your guys' location.
Get my arm back into the shield, and then again that same position where protecting the civilian. Have they gotten the message that they need to GTFO
Yeah,
yet?
they started running as soon as you started engaging. They're back. They're all running to like the edges. I mean, they're not running away to where they can't see because
Yeah,
you guys are Valor Knights, but they're out of danger.
Okay. Then with whatever movement I might have left, I'm just gonna get to essentially like flanking with D'Alessio of the Rose creature.
Perfect. Let's see. I'm gonna make a roll here to see who these gremlins are gonna try to jump on. So there's 2 people they are close to. You're on the other side, bestie.
Volunteer as tribute.
So as these vines cut into and free Caius, you stumble back and immediately you turn to see 2 gremlins jumping at you. I'm going to need a vigor roll from you.
4.
A 4, perfect. You immediately scramble out of the way. Like, you hit the ground and then immediately kick back up to your feet. And as you do, you just see 2 of them smack each other, an explosion. It does knock you forward and prone, but you dodge the damage of it.
Yeah.
So you kind of get freed, snap back up, and then immediately faceplant to avoid that. And you just feel like the explosion and the heat behind you.
Okay. I definitely don't look at the explosion, just for context and everybody in our the mind's theater and the mind's eye.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. It is D'Alessio's turn. D'Alessio, you make your full round and come back, catch the sword from Orazio, and you see those gremlins attack. You see 3 gremlins coming from the left of you towards where Caius and Hirana are, and you see 1 Void Knight prone next to the Black Rose with Orazio to your right.
Now, does D'Alessio get any bonus for Caius's distraction earlier? Because I did make that roll.
Yeah, I think between that and catching the thing, you have an advantage on whatever you're going to do. Between all the Ranger team up stuff, they shot at you before your turn.
The big ass Rose monster is still alive, yeah?
She sure is.
And there's clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Okay, got you. Well, it makes what I sent to Ark makes a lot more sense. This will be fun. He is going to take the spear and still on the horse is going to slam it almost fully flat against the ground and use that momentum-wise to push off of the horse and flip over, bring both the spear and the sword into an X. The hound and the spear. Cucullin. Gay Bulg. And will dart straight down towards the Rose creature.
Hell yeah. Make that duel and roll with advantage.
Dice roller. I have no chance here.
You know how, like in anime, someone will use a katana and there's that blade flash that you get on the screen? Like, I'm imagining that for this.
100%.
Swings and roundabouts, my friends. So the first die was a 1. Second die was an 8.
See, that's why teamwork makes that
Oh.
dream work.
That's not good. That's a fail, guys.
Oh no, I was gonna say homies helping homies.
Dolan's 4 through 7. He failed on either end of the roll.
He got hero.
Oh wait, you do got here. You're a
I
D8,
got
aren't you?
hero.
Oh, you
I'm a
lucky
D8.
bastard.
I'm the
Oh.
biggest dice at the table.
That's right. Damn. I think it's the first time you've crit. That's probably why. Yeah, you land, and as you hit her and land through this attack, you also just immediately, your momentum takes you through, and the Void Knight on the ground will also just drop murked by this attack.
I like to imagine it's not like taking through, but as I land and like finish the X, it's just the sword as it lands just pierces through the knight in a For Honor style execution. I'm just trying to get up.
There's
Um,
the
For honor
slow. There's
reference,
there's
Jesus.
all the sparks going off her body, very Ranger-esque, as she slowly tips over and falls, and the three gremlin running up explode just immediately as she falls. But as she falls,
yeah.
I need all of you to turn your Twitch audio on for just 1 second here.
Oh, cheese and crackers. What's going on there? I'm
Okay,
nervous.
you guys
Oh,
ready?
jeez. Hold on. Oops,
Oh, the
oops,
echo.
oops.
Everyone ready?
Someone just is gonna have to give me like a play-by-play.
It's fine. But as the body starts to bubble, as you all hear in the garden this,
Rise, my pretty, and extinguish their light.
as this creature starts to bubble and rise and grow in size until it towers over the castle at 100 foot tall in the air. Booming voice around you. Well, like I said, we weren't done having fun here. And that's where we're going to take our break, everybody. So we'll be back in about 10-15 minutes and see what happens. Love you all. Bye. Hey everyone, welcome back to Rangers of the Ton. Nothing too outrageous happened before the break. You know, just the monster dying and then being grown into a kaiju. Yeah, it's totally typically fine. As literally when that happens, now everyone runs out of sight. Like all this, not even towards the castle, just fucking split. Everyone starts to sprint away. And as the four of you are looking up this thing, just kind of in awe, you all hear a beep in your helmets. Um, it guys, it's RJ. Don't worry, this will be fine. Um, you just all need to reach for the grid and call out to your familiar's name. Like now, preferably now.
Virgil, Howlite Hound.
Perfect. As Virgil, the Howlite Hound, immediately you hear the loudest bark go off around the area as we get this backdrop of like a road with like in the middle of nowhere, just like plains on your side, and just this hound sword just sprinting down this road, jumps in the air, and Arazi, you feel yourself move through the grid itself, just force you into a ranger jump, and you land in the cockpit of this Zord as you feel the warm presence and look down and you see your familiar sitting next to you in the cockpit of the Howlite Hound Zord. Who would like to go next?
Chi2, Peridot Stallion.
Okay, you see kind of like a Wild West backdrop as this lime green Zord stallion just start to gallop as you hear like the loud neigh vibrate through around you, and as it kind of like just starts to gather speed and lower its head, full like gait, jumps in the air, and you feel yourself also pulled into the Zord, land right next to your familiar back in its full form, no longer in that cult stage,
This is weird.
in the Peridot Stallion Sword. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. Amari the Diamond Lion.
Okay, you all hear a loud roar as almost this like savannah like backdrop, as this almost at first what sounds like the sound of a pride, like many paws hid in the dirt of this savannah, until it zeroes in as you see this just almost hard to look at from the light hitting this diamond on the sword, this just outrageously like maned lion sword just running across the savannah, leaving heavy prints in the dirt as it jumps up, and you also feel yourself pulled into this sword next to your cub next to you.
I'm gonna give his hair a little ruffle.
And the diamond lion sword. And last but not least,
Perry, the amethyst elephant. That's definitely the name, guys. Yeah.
perfect. You see this very like almost like jungle-esque type open area as you just not a lot of speed. I'm not gonna lie, there's not a lot of speed to this sword, but just heavy footfalls as this elephant just starts to book it across these plains. And for you, instead of you jumping up, as it just kind of crashes into you, you feel a trunk wrap around you, and you just go through the trunk up into the Zord. And your little elephant baby is just, I mean, honestly, it's probably up to like here on you, but it's right next to you in the Zord as you are in the amethyst elephant Zord, as your four swords kind of tower not as tall as the Rose, but probably about like half the height as you guys kind of circle around her. Amusing. You bring your toys out to play? I guess it's gonna help. We'll just use the same initiative. So, Orazio, what would you like to do in this moment?
Full speed, all 4 feet, charging as fast as this Zord can, and goes into like a back flip almost, like plants the front feet, kicks up so that the tail swings up and cuts into the roast beast.
Okay, perfect. Make that dueling roll.
Ah, 10.
Okay, yeah, you crit and you do this. You just jump up at this thing and just get like right into like the bushy area of its torso and just start to like kind of claw into it with the jump.
Spinning and cutting with the like bladed tail, and then the claws themselves just
Seems
kind
to
of
be
just
doing some
raking
damage. It
away.
doesn't look as like severe as some of the damage you committed to it when it was smaller, but it's definitely like shakes you off, and it's gonna go for an attack on you as you're kind of tangled up in the storm. So give me a duel and roll again.
Alrighty. This dice has not let me down so far. Duly, just barely with a 4.
Okay. Yeah, you see it come down to like elbow strike it, and you disengage and kind of just crash back in between your teammates. So we move over to D'Alessio in the Stallion Zord.
RJ, problem. This is a horse. Its natural weapons are hooves. What do I do?
Kick it.
All right.
Further questions.
Just turn around.
It's like,
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, okay. Say less.
It's he's going to like wheel it. What are there actual controls, or what do they look like, or do I
Yeah,
describe
they're
you-
cup holders. What's the sitch? What's the dashboard
Yeah,
look like?
that I
Take us
actually
there.
need to
It's an
know.
open
You know?
area, just bright color, whatever color your Zord is. You have a screen in front of you that you can see out of. Like you just see like a HUD screen, similar to like your helmet. There's a little like almost like animal bed that you're familiar is on to the right of you, and then you guys are standing in this like circular platform with in front of you your guys' weapon just kind of in the ground in this like platform in front of you that you can just control. You literally just have to hold on to like the end of your weapon that's in place, and that it reads what you want to do from there.
I've never been a horse before. I'm normally, a knight, so this is going to be interesting. Grab hold of the spear and slightly like turn it so that the horse just like lifts, sets
Mhm.
itself, and then mule kicks.
Yeah, you like kind of go on your front hoof, spin around, land, and then just back kick up into this thing's leg. Go ahead and make a dueling roll.
What do I do? That's a 4.
That just hits.
Yay.
For... So as you kick it in the shin and make it stumble back a little. It doesn't make it look like it did a lot of damage, but you kicked it. It definitely made contact. And as you do that, she just kind of. I guess that's an attack. If so, let me try. And she's gonna try to punt kick you across the face. So can I get a dueling roll to kind of block out of the way of this?
Yeah, you can. You sure can, buddy.
You've got this.
You sure? Oh, that's a 2.
Cool.
Okay, I spoke
So yeah,
earlier,
you
but
come
prematurely.
down with your foot and you like turn back around to face it, and just immediately just a viney foot right under the jaw of the horse sword, sparks everywhere as you feel yourself just shaken in the cockpit. And as you're familiar, it's just kind of you're familiar. Literally, when the attack of the Zord hits, a bubble appears around and protects them. They don't move, but the rest of the cockpit shakes and sparks fly everywhere. But yeah, you will take your verse point of vapors. So I'm gonna need a vapors roll immediately. Roll your die for me. Oh, I think Javante got kicked so hard he froze.
Yep.
Oh, dang.
Damn, she
Yeah.
kicked the fuck out of him.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
there he is.
You're back.
And it's blurry too. It looks like your vision's just kind of coming back.
Damn,
As you
she
go, like,
messed
You're
"Whoa."
me
concussed.
up, dude.
That's awesome.
Go ahead and make your vapors roll. So just roll your die. You don't want to hit. You can't fail in the first one. So just more to see if you do something
It's
cool.
an 8 crit.
Yeah, so the crit doesn't do nothing. It just means you pass it. So you continue on. You keep the 1 point of marquee on your thing.
Oh God, that hurt.
Kirana, it is your turn.
Okay, quick question.
Mhm.
How big is this elephant sword in comparison to the other three on like the Like what are the general
Yours
sizes
is
of
probably
creatures?
the biggest sword.
Smallest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the rose creature is about 100 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
You're the biggest, probably about like 65 feet tall.
Okay.
Orazio's sword's the smallest, about 40. And then the
Okay.
other two are about the same height in between, around like 50, 55-ish.
Okay. So Kirana kind of looks over to Perry and she's like, "Hey, what would you do if you were big?"
You see it like look to the ground, and you just see some like just some like object on the ground, and it like wraps his trunk around and throws it.
I like the way you think. So, she kind of, I guess, does whatever with the controls. Spins the chocolate. Who knows?
It's just two chakra that are like kind of like handles. They're just stuck
Okay,
in.
okay.
You just kind of grab
DJs.
onto them.
Yeah, she's DJs.
Yeah, they're
so
DJs. Yeah,
basically,
they're
that's canon now.
It goes with your dance move. You just
Hell yeah.
fully
She
DJ at
just
this
spins
sword.
them, and the elephant kind of like takes this trunk and just kind of tries to wrap it around
For some
the
reason, there's like Magical Girl music in the background now. Just like play it off.
Hold on. I have to hold on.
But yeah,
Holding?
go ahead and make your Dolan roll while he's doing
Okay.
whatever he's doing.
That's a 6.
There we go.
Hell yeah. Jesus. Yeah. So you reach down and you just grab you just literally rip a chunk of ground out of the garden, like, or the dirt, and then like rock is underneath, and just chuck it and just beam this thing across the head as it stumbles back, falling prone as sparks fly everywhere as it then pulls itself back up slowly. Okay, you're gonna ruin my garden now. I don't like that. And she's gonna
Not
raise
like
her
you.
hands, and I'm gonna need a Dolan roll to avoid
Okay.
this attack.
That's a 5. Damn,
Okay,
I
you
love this dice.
successfully. You don't really move out of the way as your trunk just holds itself in place, and as these vines start to wrap around, the Zord just flexes and just shatters them instantly with just the size of your Zord. Okay, last
Nice
but not
try.
least, Caius and the Lion Zord. What would you like to do?
Camera cuts to Caius, who is completely neglecting the controls and just full on kind of playing Mari. And then we cut to him, and then we see like a realization that he's like, "Oh yeah," and then he turns back and is
What
very
what happens in that is like
serious.
actually when you're playing with it, he just like pushes you back, and he's like he gestures with his paw to the screen.
Oh yeah, and you see like okay, but so Caius grabs the two ends of the like ephemeral daggers that he uses, and he is surprised at like how organic this is and how little thought it requires. This is like, it feels like riding a bike that he never got on, if that makes sense. There's something like very, very familiar about this. And once he realizes the ease through which his thoughts are making the machinations of this Zord goes, he looks up at the rose and he goes, "Shut up." And I'm gonna have him rush and have the Zord go for the fucking throat. I want to tear this thing's
Hell yeah.
vocal cords out.
Yeah, you just literally grab your controls are literally just your two dagger handles, like joysticks. You just grab and just push forward as it moves forward. Give me that Dolan roll.
Starts to get to like all fours.
And you actually
like,
look over as you do that. You're like going full speed. You see your lion cub running in place.
Oh, all right. The first one was a 1, but I did have Queen's Grace from doing the recap.
Yeah, you can use that now if you want to spend your queen's favor.
Oh, it was a 1 again.
Damn. Yeah, you go and you jump, and she catches you.
Oh,
And is immediately just trying to throw you back, and it hits all four of you just end up in a pile as Caius is thrown back in the line. So and the four of you all stumble to the ground, trying to pull yourself together. She does not look that damage, and actually as she's standing there, she starts to regenerate a little bit. RJ types something in as, guys, we didn't have a lot of time to go over anything about any of this really before you guys got your powers. D'Alessio, there should be a button to your right that if you push it, it can combine your guys' Zords and make them stronger.
I understood
Oh, I'm
one
checking
of
the
those
button.
words.
You look to your right and you do see a button, like just a giant, like prismatic button that's just kind of glowing in the 4 different colors of you guys, kind of like prismatically.
I think RJ said press the button.
Press the
Cool.
button, D'Alessio.
Is
Cool.
this when we find out D'Alessio doesn't know his left from his right?
Just explodes. Or he just like self-ejects. We just see D'Alessio go flying.
It actually does cut over to this where you see Dulessa go, okay. Okay.
That's so
And
real
then-
though.
The hand symbol thing.
And just slams a fist onto the button.
Yeah, and what happens is these 4 swords start to glow, and you go back into like that grid void state. As first, the stallion sword just kind of plants its 4 feet. The front feet come into its body as it lifts up, and then the sword separates down the middle into 2 green blades. Next is both the lion sword and the hound swords, both heads kind of turn back and turn into like these spiked knuckles, and then kind of straighten out their bodies into the arms of the sword. And then last but not least, the elephant head kind of moves down to the chest and then sits up. So there's just this big round purple torso, and then the elephant head does the full flip into more of a humanoid head with elephant tusks coming down the side, a mane around its neck, and just like these pointed ears. As you guys are in the Valor Knight Megasword, and you guys appear in a pit next to you, similar circular thing with your controls, with D'Alessio in the front, the 2 arms in the left and right, and then Kirana in the back. And then in front of you, in the little area below you guys in the pit, is your 4 animals in like a little, like almost playpen style setup, all like fully in front of the screen, ready to help.
Without looking back, Caius is going to, if he's sitting in front of Kirana, is going to put his hand back for a high five before we continue.
Yes, definitely
She
some
high-fives.
reaction high five.
If this is completely not in the whole rankings of where we are in terms of kingdoms, this is cool as hell.
Yeah.
Ah,
Why don't
Why
we
do
use
I have
those
to
all
sit in
the
the back?
time?
I'm the shortest of you guys.
You can see.
adjust the seat.
It's a tilted platform. You're fine.
And maybe it's like theater. Yeah. Like
Okay.
yours
It's
is
kind
the
of like
highest.
levels. It's fine.
She like adjusts to that way. She's like sitting on her legs, kind of just like, okay.
she has the little opera glasses.
But yeah, you guys feel yourself in this Megasword, and you look through the screen, and now you are at eye level with her, 100-foot tall, and this new form. Orazio, what would you like to do first as you feel the controls kind of shift, as kind of the colors on the platforms kind of spin around and then light up in your Howlite white? Do you feel the controls shift to you?
In that moment, both Orazio and Virgil have that like trained response. We're both looking directly at the enemy. Virgil's tail is even in like the full point of a hunting hound. Is there a way that I can observe the enemy, like see if there's any like weak points or things of that nature?
Roll me a vigor roll.
Okay. Don't let me down. That is an 8. Which
Okay.
I think...
That is a hit.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, all of you are supposed to roll vigor. This is a sword. This is a Megasword now.
Oh, yeah, this is sword.
Everyone makes the roll. We need 2 successes.
I feel like I have such a disadvantage in everything combat. I have a 25% chance of succeeding at any given point.
6.
A 4! Of course I succeed on this.
Everyone succeeds. It's a perfect roll. And as you see, you actually hear echoing out in a very like over the top campy voice from the sword, hound vision engage, and just these white light flashlights from the vision just scan this thing up and down, and you see the wounds from the fight when it was small start to appear, as well as weak points on this thing.
Ooh, is it like Detective Vision from the Arkham series where you can like see all the
100%.
hell yeah, dude.
But yeah, that triggers, and then the lights go back out, and you guys are just kind of disoriented for a little bit from the blinded light of that. But as it comes back down, there's just like red spots, like kind of marked on the body.
I key HUD each one of those weak points for everyone else. These are the major or most noted weak points in the armor from attacks that we had on the ground, and then as we got bigger as well. So whoever's up next, and then as the platform shifts,
Yeah,
the next
the platform
person.
starts to shift. Yeah, because it did move Orazio into the front, and now it starts to shift again. But as it starts to spin you guys, she is going to make an attack back. As she's like,
Oh
well,
no.
if you're not going to start this, maybe I will. I don't know what that was, but I did not like it. And she reaches into her body and pulls out a vine-like sword and just goes to stab you guys in the chest with it. All of you roll dueling. 5. That's a
2.
success. That's a fail. It's a success. That's 2. It's 3. Perfect. 3 out of 4 successes. So as it goes into stab, it just kind of comes in a weird angle and just glances off the big round body of this sword. Just a quite a massive. It's the most circular sword I think it's been any
Thick
Power
is the
Rangers.
word I think
It's
you're
a
searching for.
It's a thick
2
boy. We
Cs.
love it.
Yes.
Yes, 2 Cs, 100%.
An argument could be made for 3, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, 100%.
I
there's
have
just
an
this
artist
loud-
illustration of this thick ass sword, which is like a badonkin dog.
Yes,
Please make it
100%.
happen.
There's a loud clanging sound as it bounces off the torso. We move over to as the shift and stops, and D'Alessio, you find yourself back in the front as the whole platform is now lit up in your lime green. You are muted.
I'm so enthusiastic too.
I know.
No, I felt the energy. I'm like, hell yeah. I don't know what you're saying, but I am invested.
I'm behind it.
Yeah.
And D'Alessio still fuzzy from the hit to the head.
I do agree with Shilas in the chat while we're waiting that Princess Kirana DJ.
Oh, yeah, I'm
the
just kinda like-
Megazord, yeah,
Making
is
sure we have good tunes, some good
so
balance.
amazing.
Man, she really kicked that horse so hard that she's given him all the tech issues now. Just
It's
literally.
like, oh, you want to go after my vocal cords, huh?
It's okay. While Javante gets set up, we'll just move. We'll just shift. We'll say it continues to shift, and it lights up a bright purple amethyst color. As Kirana, you can see now. You are in the
Oh,
front.
yay! Also, if I cut out, apparently my internet connection's unstable, so
It's okay.
Okay. Wow, now I can see everything, and this is more terrifying.
What would you like to do?
You hear a disembodied, you got this in the background.
Thanks. Kirana's gonna kind of like tap into RJ, be like, RJ, I'm scared. What do you recommend?
I mean, you have size and stuff. Just maybe hit it. I don't know. I'm not violent. I'm sorry.
Oh god, what are we doing?
And
to
you
RJ?
actually see an image of RJ appear on the screen, and he's like watching the battle like this.
He's
Just in the
already
cracks.
collapsed. It's just the hands.
It's just
over
yeah.
the-
It's just the whole body's collapsed. It's just the gauntlets over where the visor is laying.
I did mark all of the weak points for you, Rajkumari.
I didn't hear what was said before gauntlets, so I'm gonna be honest. I don't.
You see a bunch of red lights lit up on this thing that you could target as well from the Hound Vision that was engaged.
Okay. Then in that case, I think she's just gonna try and be, because she's just gonna be like, can we punch those spots with a chakra, please?
Yeah.
And
You
kind of just-
you like start to do a very upbeat K-pop song on the DJ and set in front of you.
not Bollywood, damn.
Nah, we're gonna mix it up. We can't just be the stereotype, okay? But
And
yeah,
so then she's gonna kind of like just try and see if about slashing it at like one of the weak points on
Yeah.
like arm.
give me a dueling roll with advantage, guys, from Division. So all of you roll dueling at advantage.
I got a 1.
You rolled twice.
Thank you. I forgot that that's the thing. I still got a 1.
Damn. Okay. It's 1 and a 10, so a crit and a fail. Okay.
I got a 1.
1.
With advantage?
With advantage?
With advantage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, I got a 1 twice.
You
Same,
also
but
got-
I have a D4, which just feels so
Jesus.
fucked.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of you rolled ones with advantage, rolled failures with advantage, except for Art, who just crits. It doesn't help, Art. I'm sorry, buddy. Like, Art's the only one that has really had a lot of hand-to-hand combat with Orazio. Orazio's fully, like, in it, in the motion, and the rest of you are, like, like, very slow with it, completely off base. And she just, like, catches it in her hand. And then just
Guys, I
bends
don't
the
think this
arm
playlist
upside
was
down,
right.
and she's gonna make an attack back. She's just gonna make an attack with that many crit fails. She doesn't. There's no defense roll. She just really does that, bends your arm, and then just socks you guys across the chest. Just scraping vines and sparks fly off the chest as you guys stumble back and take a marquee point. Now you're all gonna roll your
So we all
vapor.
gotta fly around the cockpit a little bit.
Now you all gotta roll vapor rolls.
This is bad for me now.
All of you roll your dice. Yeah, this could potentially knock out the Alessio. 4,
Got a
3,
3.
5.
5, 4. Okay, everyone's good. All of you have 1 point of marquee. The Alessio, you're up to 2, buddy.
Oh God.
We'll say it's back to the Alessio since you're having mic issues there.
Okay. Chakrams didn't work. Let's try this and summon out the spear. Is it? Do we have a description of what the weapons look like, or can I just fuck around with it a little?
So when the chakrams came out, they were just turned into pretty much brass knuckles on the Zord that she went to like punch with. As you summon the spear, it kind of just like jettons out like a knife, like an assassin's blade knife under the arm.
All right, let's prune this hedge, and I'm going to try to just stab it through the neck.
Perfect. Everyone roll dueling.
I don't like dice.
5. Perfect.
3.
That's a foul. And they're 5 and a 7. So that passes. So yeah, what happens as you stab into this thing? Describe how the attack looks as you go to stab up into it.
So kind of like looks over to where the first hand was like caught, swings that hand, lets it get caught again, and then just takes the other hand and goes, "Sing," and then just stabs it straight through the neck.
Yeah, just arm engaged right up in the neck with the hidden spear blade in this thing. It's just like trying to pull it out as like just black ooze just starts to creep down. We'll say it's out the left arm, so this is down the lion Zord arm as just this diamond like arm is just covered in this black ooze. So you yank it out.
Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. This starts rotating.
While it's pulled in like that, it is going to force you all to roll a vigor roll. As you feel this blood at first start to slowly go down, but now start to actually creep up the body of the Zord.
5.
5, 7, 1, 2. That is still a success. That's 2 successes.
Blah, blah.
So as this creeps up, you just see immediately defensive measures engage, and the arm detaches and just kind of shakes itself off, punches it across the face, and then reattaches to the Zord.
That was cool.
Okay, over to Caius.
cool.
Caius, what would you like to do? As it shifts again, and there's just this bright, like, silverish white color under the platform as you find yourself in front.
I think what I want to do is Caius is going to think strategically, knowing that like combat is not it's not where he has his prowess. And so what I would like to pitch is like leveraging the like animal instinct or floral instinct of this thing against this, like, you know, that hunter gatherer part of the brain that all of us still have that like tells us to run or tells us to take our hand off of like a hot stove. I want to do this guttural, like ferocious, frightening roar at the beast to see if I can either stun, disorient, or scare it. And I want to like scream at it, you know, with like a full. I basically want to weaponize the sonic force of the lion's voice to try to disorient or just something, you know.
Okay, everyone give me a vigor roll. 3,
3,
8, 9. and a
9.
5. So that is or 6. That is a
6.
success. That's two passes. So as you kind of the arm reattaches, which was the lion arm, as it reattaches, you kind of just settle back, lift the hand, and the hand flips back around back to the lion head and just opens the mouth, and this sonic force just jettisons outside of this, and it just the rose just screeches as it holds its, doesn't really have ears, just at the side of its head, as you just see more ooze start to come out of it. And as this spins again, this prism, it starts to light up in all of your colors. Everyone roll me just a die roll and tell me what you get. You want to roll your upper half of your die. So 3, that's a 3, okay. 5, 8, 1. That is still 2 successes, because 2 of you hit over the halfway point. And as you guys you feel this grid power surge through you, and you all grab onto your platforms, almost like out of control of your body for when you first morphed. And you see the Zord raise its hand to the sky, and this beautifully long halberd appears in its hand with 2 elephant tusks off the side of the blade, almost in it's more of like a tri-bladed halberd with the very familiar white saber through the middle, with the green shaft of the peridot sword, with just diamond etchings like kind of ringing around the shaft of this halberd. And as you guys all just feel your arms roll back and throw, you just see it hit dead center, and there's just an explosion of prism light.
Let's go!
As you guys all hear echoing out, Heaven's Prism Halberd attack. And there's just a multicolored light as this thing yells out, no, and just crashes. And there's just the very anime as the sword turns around and catches the halberd and slams it into the ground. And just colors fly everywhere. And as we leave you guys here, and as this goes away, you all hear a voice that rings out across the whole estate. So in other words, let me know when you guys have the Twitch audio back on. Good. Perfect. The last thing you guys hear.
Good show, young heirs. You are going to be so very much fun to play with. Do me a favor. Tell Reggie and RJ I say hello. Ta-ta.
And with that is the end of the episode. Thank you guys for joining us for tonight. Let's jump into our outros and then go from there. So I believe we'll go in reverse order tonight. So Aetherius, why don't you start us off? Tell people who you are, where you're at on socials, and what you got going on.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? My name is Aetherius Bordeaux. As to who I am, that's an existential question. I don't know that I have the wherewithal to answer tonight, let alone any time, but I appreciate that. We're all works in progress. I'm kidding. Yeah, you can find me here on Roll D5, where I am a main cast member. I do have a podcast out right now, which is an isekai actual play, which is so much fun. It's called World Replica. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts, so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And Replica is spelled Replica for that. So, yeah, and a bunch of other things. And I think I may even be playing some Marvel Rivals tonight. We will see what the Fam Bam is up to. But yeah, that's me.
Okay, perfect. Javante.
Howdy, everybody. I'm really quiet. Howdy, everyone. I'm Javante. I played D'Alessio, where you can find me. Normally, I'm still on the hellscape that is Twitter. I'm also on Blue Sky under the same name of Javante. You can also check out my Twitch, Eclipse, twitch.tv/Eclipse613 on Thursdays. This coming Thursday, tomorrow, we're doing Blood and Cinders with Ark. A game set in the Somnus Domino world based around Nat 19, where a party happened and I heard a dad like the entire session. It was awful, really. Or you can catch us on opposing Thursdays with Paige for Set Sail, a One Piece D&D adventure. It had arc, but his guest arc is over now, which means that we're looking for new guests.
Never liked core anyway.
Damn liar.
You can also catch me on Sundays for a little while, where I'm on House of Dreams, where I play Chuki, the black-footed cat in our Wander Home game, which is very, very fun. I'm also working on stuff on the sides, including writing a book for the Black Library of Warhammer 40k, based around the Karkarodons, my favorite Space Marine faction. I also have some other projects slowly coming into the works, especially leading up to next month, because it's my birthday month, and that's when I'm always busy doing stuff. So,
Hell yeah. Okay, Art.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ark, or Ark Light Court, your Gridmaster, Lighthouse Keeper, Lore Writer, Beacon onto all beacons. You can find me all over the internet at Ark Light Court. Alternating Mondays. This Monday coming up, you can catch Morphin Multiverse. This episode will actually feature none other than Wife Light Court herself, joining in for the very first time on stream, and in her first streamed actual play project, essentially. Alternating Mondays from there, we have the Heritage Collection, our Gotham City Monster of the Week series, where I get new teams of vigilantes to try and help Gotham and the Bat family while Bruce Wayne disappears in a exploding near orbit jet that had various members of the Justice League on it for some reason. Who knows why that happened? Wednesdays, you can find me here on the wonderful Pluto's Underworld playing Orazio Di Argento. And alternating Thursdays, you can again find me on Eclipse 613's channel for Blood and Cinders, where I play Orm, the always hungry, never moody vampire barbarian, who's just trying to find who put him in the box a couple thousand years ago and forgot about him. But I'm your Power Rangers guy and guide through the light.
And last but not least, Serini.
Hi everyone, I'm Serini, also known as Serena Teacup on all social media platforms. I primarily do cosplay and dance content, so I'm mostly on Instagram, TikTok, and I'm pretty active on Threads as well. I am starting, I finally bought my PC, so hopefully I will be starting to stream my own stuff sometime in May, so that's really exciting. Other than that, next big cosplay I've got going on is this Friday. There is a fantasy book themed event, so keep your eye out for Princess Elena of Ravens from the Ravens trilogy, The Phoenix King. Amazing book, South Asian inspired fantasy sci-fi. So love, love, love. But yeah, that's what I got going on, and I also get to play the super cool Maya Jane, MJ, Batty with a Crowbar over on Ark's channel. So, keep an eye out for the Heritage Collection because we're kind of cool. But yeah, that's me.
Perfect. And of course, I am Paige, aka Pluto Cleric, everywhere on the internet. I am a lesbian trans streamer and game master and quest run every game in the known universe, which just means I run a lot of games because I have a lot of games that I need to get through. I'm not here on Rotating Mondays and Rotating Thursdays. I'm either on Ark or Javante's channel, either being a pirate or being a badass with some boots. Beyond that, every Sunday over on the YouTube channel at night are the God Killer episodes of God Killer Generations that are slowly coming out. I believe, because I definitely didn't miss putting it up the last 2 weeks, but the next episode will be this Sunday with Lav, aka, what is the new handle? Entity Edits, I believe, on Instagram now.
Yes.
Is their new handle. So definitely check them out. They are an amazing video editor for a lot of APs, actually. A lot of the stuff on Tales of Novum, as well as like Toby EXE's channel, and I believe is even doing the editing for Worlds Apart, Odin and Diana's new podcast. So definitely check her out and check out this week's episode. But beyond that, we will be back here again next week, Wednesday, to see the fallout of your guys' first sword battle. So I'm sure it's fine.
And to get the conclusion for the proposal that don't forget the romance.
And to address the voice that called out the Queen and RJ maybe at the end there.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
we need to know what DLSU said.
Guys, 2 of my groom's party died today.
Yeah, and there was 2 murders in a Power Rangers game. That's pretty big.
True.
2 people got Yamcha'd.
And we got to figure out what's on the playlist next, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been in too many Power Rangers games with Arc. People get murdered all the time.
Yeah, we're desensitized to it. But anyway, with that, thanks you all for joining us, and good night, gentle viewers.